Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making my all-time favorite Danish, and that is a cheese Danish. This takes me back to my childhood. When I was growing up in Ocala, Florida, there was a bakery called the Ocala Bakery, and my sister-in-law's family actually owned that bakery, and I would get some change off of my parents' dresser, maybe 50 cents, and ride my bicycle to the bakery and buy myself a cheese Danish. They were the absolute best. And I'll tell you something else about that bakery. Do you remember back in the 50s and 60s and early 70s, those little candy letters and numbers that were put out by Betty Crocker? The Ocala Bakery, Bobby Jones and his sister Louise Crawford developed that in Louise's garage and sold their patent to Betty Crocker, and now they are all over the world. How cool is that? Came right out of Ocala. Now let's get started on this Danish. I'm starting with the filling, and this filling is going to make 8 of your cheese Danish. And I've got 4 ounces or a half of a block of cream cheese, and this is at room temperature. It's nice and soft. If you grab it straight out of the refrigerator, then maybe pop it in the microwave for 15 or 20 seconds and get it nice and soft. Now to this, I'm adding 1 egg yolk. So I'm going to separate my egg, just toss it back and forth, and that is going right in. Now, I've got 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. If you want to reduce that and go to a 1/4 cup, you can, but I like it a little bit on the sweeter side, so that's what I'm going with. I'm also adding just a pinch of salt. Not much, because your cream cheese already has a little bit of a savory flavor to it. And I've got an ingredient that is completely optional, but it's delicious. I've got a tablespoon of sour cream. The sour cream just gives it a little zing, and it's so good. But if you don't feel comfortable adding the sour cream, then by all means, just eliminate it. It's quite all right. Now, I've got just a little dash of vanilla, about a half of a teaspoon. Now, I've got a fresh lemon, and I am going to grate some lemon zest into this filling. Now, this isn't going to taste lemony, but it's going to give it just a real burst of freshness and flavor. And I'm going to go with, let's say, a good teaspoon of this lemon zest. I don't want to overpower it, but if you're really a lemon lover, you can definitely use more. Just make sure that when you're zesting your lemon that you only zest the yellow. As you get into the white, it's going to get bitter, and we don't want anything bitter in our cheese Danish. Now, I could definitely whisk this together, but I've got my handy dandy mixer, and I'm going to mix this on a medium speed just until it's well blended. This looks perfect, and it smells so good. Now I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and just let it sit while we roll out our puff pastry. I am probably pretty sure that the Ocala Bakery made their cheese Danish from scratch, from bottom to top, but I am so thankful for this puff pastry because it makes life so much easier, and you can put these together in minutes. They come out of the package folded. I let these thaw out in the refrigerator, and then I set them on the counter while I was making my filling just to get the chill off. Now, this is the floured side, so I'm going to put that down, and I've cleaned and sanitized my countertop, And I'm laying this pastry right over just a little bit of all-purpose flour. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more on top just to make sure it doesn't stick. And I'm just going to roll this out a little bit thinner. This one sheet is going to make 4 pastries, and I'm just getting these seams to where they're not so Captain Obvious. Just going to make a nice even square. This looks perfect. Look how pretty that is. Now, I've got my pizza cutter. You can use a sharp knife, and I'm cutting this into 4 different pieces. I'm just going to separate them. That looks great. And now I've got my filling. These are going to be so good. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of filling in each of my Danish. This is going to spread out, so you don't want to overfill it. Just a good tablespoon works perfect. And this, like I said, this filling is the perfect amount for 8 Danish. Now I'm bringing out this egg white. I'm going to use it to help seal this shut. And I'm just going to brush both corners. Go ahead and do 2. And I'm going to fold over. And that seals it shut. Now I've lined a baking sheet with a little parchment paper. And this is going right on. Just close it. Just fold it over. Just like that. The cheese Danish that I had at the Ocala bakeries were always shaped in an octagon, but I'm taking the easy route today, and I'm just making this shape because, like I said, it's easy. Now, I'm going to take a little bit more of this egg and just brush the top. This is going to help seal it just a little bit more, because if you're not careful, this can pop open on you. And that's not always a bad thing, but I want them to stay closed. There we go. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and these are going to cook anywhere from 15 to, let's say, 18 minutes. Just watch them very carefully, and when they get just that beautiful golden brown, they're ready. Oh, those are looking beautiful, and they smell divine. I made my second batch. They're in the refrigerator, hanging out, waiting to go in the oven next after the first batch comes out. And in the meantime, I'm going to make the delicious glaze that goes over these cheese Danish. I've melted 2 tablespoons of salted butter, and to that I'm going to add a whole cup of powdered sugar. Well, I thought I wasn't going to make a mess, but there I go. And I'm going to add just a scant of vanilla. Just a couple of drops, just to give this more flavor. And now some heavy cream, 3 teaspoons for this particular batch. Now, right before glazing my cheese Danish, I'm going to put this in the microwave for 15 seconds and let it loosen up. That way it's a little easier to drizzle on our Danish. I'm going to go clean up my mess and myself, and I'll see you back here in a few. look at these. I think this is perfection. Oh, they smell so, so good. These cooked for 16 minutes exactly. And I did what I told you I was going to do, and that was put my glaze in the microwave. Now, if you don't want glaze, you can serve these right by themselves, or you can dust them with a little powdered sugar. But my husband and I love a little bit of this. And I'm just going to take my fork and drizzle this right on while they're hot. I think the Ocala Bakery would be quite proud to know that I'm making these today in their honor. These look perfect. And my husband just walked in. He's been watching football. It's Saturday morning at our house. We've been lingering along at the coffee, and he said, "What you cooking?" And he's excited to have one of these. And so am I. Oh, look at this. Now, as much as I would like to bite into this right now, I'm not about to, because this filling is super, super hot. So I'm going to let this cool for maybe about 5 minutes, and then we're going in for the taste test. One for my husband and one for me. Look at that beautiful cheese filling, and if you wanted to, you could put some strawberry or raspberry preserves in there with it. Y'all, these are so good. Oh my goodness, my husband is going to be thrilled. I know that I am. The cheese filling just tastes fresh and a little savory, a little sweet, and then the glaze on the puff pastry just gives it a little extra something, something. These are perfect to make for a holiday morning. You can make them ahead. Just wait and add your glaze if you choose to reheat them, and they will be perfect. One more bite. These are fantastic. You've just got to try them. You're a blessing to me. Thanks so much for watching today. Will you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with your friends? Make this for them, and I can guarantee you they will think you're the best bakery in town. Well, I think I've made my husband wait long enough. Hot cup of coffee, hot cheese Danish with football on the TV. We'll see you next time.